Welcome back. Basically, we just gotta connect all this stuff today. Maybe I should start with getting these casings combined and redistributed. I want to make sure that each side has an equal amount. Yeah, sure, they're both connected, but at some point, one side's going to get more than the other side. So I'm just gonna kind of guarantee that everything gets connected to this single box. Right about here. If I use the straight mode, I might be able to do this. Oh, now that's a real shame. That's going to make putting this one together a lot more difficult. No, I guess it's fine. So now both of these feed the single box, and then we'll send out from that box to both sides. But I think I'm going to hold off on that so we can try to get this gas exchange done. Wait a minute. Are you trying to tell me all of the nitrogen gas has made its way in here? Huh. Okay. Interesting. I figured I'd have a backlog of nitrogen gas already. But all we have is a small backlog of empties. Okay. That's just a tiny bit higher than it should be. Much better. Okay, looks like this whole side backlog after one more shipment. So now we can focus our nitrogen gas on this side. We know we don't really need that much nitrogen gas. And I'm pretty sure our nitrogen gas blueprint bug is still a thing. I don't understand how this is the problem. Somehow that lift is not connected correctly. I should check to make sure there's empties in here. There's no empties in here. But when I reconnect it, there's no empties in here. But if all I have to do is reconnect this and not the belt, then fine. Nitrogen gas is making it its way over to the blenders. So the easy mode of this thing, hopefully, fingers crossed, is this comes up from the bottom. Have I connected this though? I'm not sure I've connected these. Technically, it's more like this comes up from the bottom. I'd really like to see some heavy frames flowing through here. Okay, they're making their way. Just getting divided by 50% every single level. The reason why I want to get this connected is because it will help us see how much space we actually have left. How much power do these blenders take? Oh boy, it's going to be a huge chunk of power draw. All right, we're actually looking pretty good. So it looks like we have one easy access. We can just put this casing right here. We'll go kind of way above. This is an old design that's finally come to fruition. Before I used to have these lifts on the outside of the building. Now it's kind of internalized, and then we've got all these fancy facade options. Interesting though, half the resources come from the top and half come from the bottom, so the best supplied guys are going to be these blenders in the middle. Yeah, it's going to take them a second to get going. I'm going to do some... Should I do some hand distribution? I want these machines to get going as quickly as possible. Apparently we're short on nitrogen gas, which is just wacky to me. Somehow we're not bringing in enough nitrogen gas. I think I'll just force feed half of these guys. I guess I'm gonna have to fly over there and grab some nitrogen gas. I didn't really give it a lot of time to prep and backlog. I'm just surprised, to be honest. Our distribution layer is distributing. So that guy's complaining about not having enough heavy modular frames. Pretty sure that's just because our encased beam supply is lacking. I hate being right all the time. Where did I put the nitrogen gas? Oh yeah, by the refinery. I know that there's tanks and tanks and tanks and tanks of gas lying around here. Yeah. That's why you always enter that thing full health. Maybe we need some empties. Ah, yes, we need some empties. It's a recycling focused solution, but okay. Easy enough to solve that. Uh-oh. Where'd I put my stuff? Oh, yeah. You gotta have the jetpack and the fuel to go with it. And then we just have to hope that this angle isn't too close, which it might be. We might slam straight into those. Nope, we cleared it. Luckily, we have at least a supply. I don't think it's a massive supply of empty canisters, but we have a few that we can grab. And since it is a recycling solution, it's better to keep that separate, because if you're recycling, eventually you're going to overload it. Right now it's underloaded. But to fix it, all we need to do is just stuff some more empties in, which is what we're about to do. And that will give us more nitrogen gas available to the entire factory. And then we'll need to look into encased beams. Luckily, it really doesn't take that long. Got a few extra canisters, so I'm just trying to unload our inventory as much as possible. You know, I could put the other empties on the other side, actually, and kind of move on with my day. Only one of these is actually producing gas that's getting used. how is this top one getting used? Oh, as a backup for this. But that's not getting touched. Only this one's getting touched. I would just like to see one of these be less than maximum. And it's claiming that that is the case because this is moving 600. I mean, I guess it's just saying, hey, I'm getting all the gas I can get. Yep, fill rate and drain rate are perfectly balanced, so okay. All right. I'll leave it to what the numbers say is perfect. Encased beams. We've fully interrogated our natural gas, our nitrogen gas output here, so not much more to do there. This is where I put a round of construction material. Ooh, there's still a lot of good stuff in there. Yeah, you can just tell by this steel belt here. We're not outputting enough steel still. technically upgrading this puts encased beam in our belt. Did I say encased beam in our belt? I mean encased beam in our inventory. Six beams per minute times 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. $84 beams per minute. That's really not a lot. I might have to go back and make a fresh encased beam factory. Try to get those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. We'll just take a couple of easy shipments. This isn't really solving the problem. It's just giving us a little bit of a boost. I mean, I think this first one could go faster, but that's really only going to give us another 9. Another 12. Another 15. Not a lot. Not enough. What does the encased beam... Because we've got a decent amount of pipes, but we probably only have a bunch of pipes because we don't have enough encased beams. The original recipe is better. potentially more convenient because we could skip a couple steps and just use these iron ingots. But that's not great, actually. Okay. We'll have to add encased beam back to our list. But for now, we've got it caught up with a tiny bit of a backlog. Of course, whenever we do this, we're just opening up ourselves to... This guy is now receiving less, even though it has more. Because it shares its output. With local storage and upload. Oh, so actually it's supplying the very thing I'm moving it from. I don't like that. This is a little bit... This is a little better distribution. So now the factory gets half, the storage gets half, and the storage as part of me, we're on that half over there. So once this fills back up, this will get the full 100% of that, but it won't feed the storage, which is counterproductive for right now. So at the very least, there's a full blow of actually, we could take these with us actually. All in all, that just means we need to add the another encased beam to our list. Can I make it all the way back over there? Well, technically I want to go here because I want to drop these encased beams off. This guy is still having trouble. I guess technically the change I made it really shouldn't take that long to kick in though. We run the risk of having too many empties. But that's why we've got the industrial storage containers to buffer that, so that should be fine. I actually have 2 of them. So all of the machines should be able to get all their empties off. Yeah, that's the real problem, is that this is not a reliable splitter. It will be once the nitrogen gas. The nitrogen gas, that's actually what I'm talking about. Once all the machines start to fill up, like these are starting to, once this happens on all the machines, then it'll be a reliable splitter, or its unreliability won't impact us, to be more precise. I'm just surprised that that is the thing that's holding us back. One tank gives you 240 nitrogen gas. It would have been interesting to connect all the levels as well as each level to their own machine. That would have been an interesting choice. Because really, this machine right here, 240 per minute, can run .2 machines. So it could run this one plus half of this one. So the fact that there's nitrogen gas sitting here not being used because these two technically don't have heavy modular frames, which is a different problem, could distribute this out a little better. think we'll just grab these. Send that to the rest of the factory. Actually, unreliable splitter, right? I think that's pretty straightforward. Do I need to go back for another round of nitrogen gas? You would think 900 tanks would be a lot. Well, we do have 8. 3, 6, 7, 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got 700 times 2, 1,400. I still think that... I'm a little surprised if we're not full on gas. Let's see how much nitrogen gas is actually packed over there. I honestly don't think it's going to take that long for a good chunk of it to get packed. You know, I tried to go farther by boosting my ascent, but I think it actually turned out worse. I mean, the exchange part is working. Maybe there's still not enough empty cans. These numbers are kind of low. I may go grab another cycle. Another round of cans. Because these guys need... I would say you would want not a full industrial storage container, but at least half a full industrial storage container. Well, technically you want enough empties in the system where the second the last one is used and shipped out, a new batch arrives. Yeah, because see, right now, no work is getting done. It's good that this is full, so it's ready to go. And this side's also full. We've got a good chunk nitrogen gas ready to go. Okay, maybe we'll just bring back some nitrogen gas. But I think also adding that one more round of empties is key. I did notice that there are a few frames sitting and not shipping. Oh, we haven't connected their outputs yet. That'll do it. We aren't going any higher than this. No reason to leave those heavy modular frames sitting there. Okay, I think that's going now. Not bad. The only downside right now is our encased beam. We might be able, like I'm seeing some limestone right there. We might be able to do a little local encased beam, just a small effort. These pipes are running all of a sudden though. However, temporarily. Super technically, the beams that we're using for screws, that could also be a source. This is getting a little bit more interesting. It might make sense. Nuclear pasta, though, that's the big one. I was thinking I could put a couple machines in here to make encased beams, but that might be a bit of a pipe dream. Bill, if we did it, all we'd have to do is we could make a little local limestone or local concrete right here. Wouldn't even have to be a huge factory. Impure limestone, boo. Oh, there's all kinds of stuff over here. Needs 70 watts. Probably something to worry about later. So I could use both of the recipes. One that sort of peels off a little bit of the steel, one that peels off a little bit of the pipes. Add in a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit of limestone. We'll have to see how much. Oh, but, well, no, yeah. If I were going to do this, I'd make the concrete first and then belt it in, right? So it only takes 18 per minute. And if I did both of them, this one's 24 per minute. If I did 10 of them, it'd be 24 per minute on the pipe side. And then over here, how many pipes are we using? We're using a lot. But maybe not too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 20. Well, technically we're using the full belt work. The full belt worth and a little bit. So if we were to pull pipes off, we would actually be in a situation where we'd have to add more pipes. I don't know. We'll have to think it through. But whatever we decide... it'll be for the next episode. At the very least, we are seeing some heavy modular frames. Not enough. But some are going out. At most, though, it's only 60 per minute. Thanks for hanging out. I do appreciate it. We'll see you next time.